Hello everybody, Crusher Callan here, and today I'm playing Ark Survival Evolved, and in this episode I am going to be showing you guys all of the underwater ocean loot crates on Crystal Isles. So there's two categories of these loot crates. There's the ones in the open oceans and the ones in the underwater cave systems. In this episode I'm going to be showing you guys the ones in the open ocean, and there is an absolute lot of them. There is over 20 underwater loot crates in the open ocean, and at least another 10 more in the caves. So because of the sheer amount of drops, I'm going to have to split this into two different videos. So in this episode we're going to be showing the open ocean ones, which are primarily along the west coast and north. And then next episode we're going to go through the various cave systems in both the redwoods area and up in the snow. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So as there are so many drops and I simply can't remember where they all are, I'm not going to be able to show you one direct route, and instead I'm going to have to cut between each loot crate. I'm sorry, I'd much prefer not to have to do that. I'd rather structure it like I did my desert loot crates on Ragnarok, but there's just too many for me to memorise the full route of where I'm meant to head, so we're just going to cut between each drop, unfortunately. But yeah, so let's get straight into it. What do you need? Well, you're going to need a scuba tank. I'm not going to be using one here because I'm on single player. It just makes it so much easier if I don't have to make them or stop me from drowning and that. But if you're on official servers, you'll need that. Flippers may also be handy if you're hopping off your mount to grab the drop, and if you get attacked, they're always good for getting away. As a, like mount wise, I'd recommend you take an Ichthy, Manta, or anything else that's fast. You're not going for sheer damage here. You're just trying to avoid all the creatures that you come across. And the next thing I'd recommend is something that people wouldn't actually really recognise, and that's the gas mask. So I'm just going to demonstrate here the difference between gas and scuba mask. So as you can see when you go underwater, you can't see much. It's all foggy and clouded and that. You'd think putting on a scuba mask would fix that, but all it does is restrict your view more and changes your line of sight by absolutely nothing. Whereas if you put on a scuba mask, it completely clears up the ocean. From the surface to the floor, you can see everything. So if you've got some, I'd recommend you use them, but it's not needed. However, I do recommend it. Alright, let's get into the first drop. So the first one is here at 75.8, 14.6 off the west coast of the tropical biome. So you want to head straight down, quite far out, and there'll be this big arch. Just beside the arch is this little flat plateau here, and the drop will spawn right on this plateau. It'll spawn right about here somewhere. Something else I need to mention with the drops as well is that sometimes they will not be here because there is a max on the amount of drops that can spawn, and other times they'll actually be in the mesh. I've seen this drop here spawn in the mesh. It looks like at the moment it's just not here, but oh no, there you go. See there, it's in the mesh. So this drop does spawn on the top, as do many of the drops that spawn in the mesh, but for some reason they also spawn in the mesh. So just check to see if it's on top. If it's not, it might be under the mesh or not spawn, which can be quite frustrating. But this is the first location, 75.8, 14.6, right here by this coral on the plateau. Alrighty, the next drop location is here at 69.5, 17.2. Now, I really don't recommend you go for this one. As you can see, there's tons of eels, tons of anglerfish, tons of jellyfish. It's just not worth going to, and I've never actually seen the drop spawn here. I think it might be one that spawns in the mesh quite often. So, I'd recommend you skip this one. If you want to check to see if it's here, and it is, please do let me know, because I'm not actually sure about this one. I've got a feeling it doesn't spawn in, but yeah, if you do come and see it, please do let me know in the comments below. Alright, let's skip to the next one. Alrighty, the next drop will spawn right here at 68.5, 14.6, right on this little ledge here. So if we swim out, it's just by all these arches, pretty much underneath this big one, and it will spawn on this little ledge coming off of the side, somewhere about over here and here. It may also spawn in the mesh. Again, I'm not sure about that one, but I have definitely seen this one spawn up on this pillar here. Alright, let's move on to number 4. Alrighty, we're here at the next one. This one is at 64 and 15.8. So this is again one of the ones that I've never actually seen spawn. But from what I'm aware, it'll spawn right on this little ledge here. Or at least one of these little ones here. Because this is pretty much 64, 15.8 right here. So it'll spawn on probably this ledge right here is what I reckon. Again, I've never actually seen this one before. It's listed on the wiki, but the wiki can be a bit weird sometimes with including ones that spawn in the mesh and that sort of stuff. But yeah, let's move on to number 5. Alrighty, the next drop is located here at 60.5, 15.1. Right here on this little ledge. Now, in this case, again, it spawned under the mesh. It's pretty gay. I'll show you real quick. Right there. Spawned under the mesh. It's worth checking out still because it may have something to do with my single player because it seems like quite a common occurrence. So if you come here, it'll most likely be either right on this little ledge here or just up here on the coral. But anyway, 60.5, 15.1. Definitely check it out and let me know if it's in the mesh or not because I've only ever seen this one in the mesh. Alrighty, the next drop spawns here at 49.4, 14.9, just north of our other position. So this one spawns on a big flat plateau. It's got a few rocks around it. It's off to the side of the map, right by where it just becomes sand off into oblivion. So yeah, this one spawns on this little pillar here. And yeah, 49.4, sorry, 14.9. Alrighty, the next one spawns at 42, 16.8, just northeast of the one we were just at. So this one is actually on the ocean bed, in between all of these pillars, rocks, and it's in this little bit of a trench thing inside of this big skeleton here. So right here inside the skeleton by all the trenches, rocks and pillars. 42, 16.8. Alrighty, this next one spawns at 40.4, 19.2. It's just below this big archway. And there's a few big rocks and pillars in that as well. And the entrance to one of the caves that we'll be looking at in the next episode. So just down here on the floor, 14.4, 19.1. Alrighty, this next drop here I'm not actually too sure about. On the wiki it says that it spawns at 39.3, 15.7, which is right here. So, from what I know, it'd probably either spawn on one of these little pillars here, plateau, or it'll be on top of this big pillar here, up on the sides of it somewhere. So I'm not sure about this one. This probably needs a bit more evidence. I probably shouldn't have included it in the video, but I just thought I might as well leave it here anyway, just in case you guys want to check. Either that or it's down here. So if you're going to head to this one, 39.3, 15.7, check up top on the pillar, up on the plateau, and down on this ledge. Alrighty, this next one is located at 29.4, 13.2, right by the edge of the map. On this little pillar here, there's a ledge sticking out towards the barrier, and it will spawn right on this little ledge, off by these rocks here. Alrighty, this next one is located at 27.7, 13.1, right on this little ledge thing that juts out from the rock facing the border. This next one here spawns at 29.4, 18.1, just up on this little ledge here where my ichthy is, above this big trench where the exit to one of the caves mentioned earlier is. This next one here spawns at 27.4, 17.2, up on this little ledge archway thing hanging over this large trench. There's a few big crystals over that way and more arches as well. This next one here is located at 25.7, 17.2. It either spawns up on this arch here or on the valley directly below it. I'm not 100% sure about this one. Might need to check it out for yourselves. This next one here is located at 24.2, 14. It either spawns on this big arch here or this smaller arch directly below it. One of the two. This next one here is located at 21.9, 17.1, and it is just down here in this big bunch of crystals here in a valley. This next drop is located here at 18.2, 14.1. It'll spawn just down the bottom here, below this massive big cliff off towards the barrier of the map. Alrighty, this next one here is located at 15.2, 16.3. Here on this little ledge in between the valley. Lots of seaweed coming through in the middle. Alrighty, the next drop location is located just here on this little pillar here. 11.4, 17.6. Just on top of this little rock looking thing by the edge of the map. It'll spawn right where this clam and seaweed and coral and that is. This next drop spawns at 15.5, 19.2 towards the back end of this little plateau ledge thing coming off this sheer cliff. This next one is located at 14.5, 20.3, just here on this little rock formation off from the plateau and the cliff face. This next one is located here at 11.5, 24.7, just on this little rock right out the front of the entrance to one of the artifact caves, off towards the border here. The next one spawns right here at 15.3, 26.2 on this large plateau right here, and as you can see it spawns in a small little clearing with seaweed, coral and other things around it. Alrighty, this next one here spawns at 12.9, 28.6 on this large big long rock that borders the border, and it'll spawn on this little circular ledge here. In my case it spawned in the mesh yet again. This next drop will spawn right here at 11.8, 32.3, just on this little plateau here right by where the bubbles are getting blown up. This next one will spawn down here at 13.7, 31.5 in this large valley here underwater with seaweed and oil through it. It'll just spawn right here. Alrighty, this next one spawns at 13.8, 40.1 here towards the edge of the map. It's on this big pillar. There'll be bits of icebergs and snow and that forming around here, and it'll be spawned on top of this little pillar right here in amongst the coral. Alrighty, and the final drop for the underwater open ocean loot crate spawns at 16.9, 39.4 on this little plateau here, right by the big ice wall over here, and on this little plateau atop this rock. But yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, and if you've got any comments or feedback, put it in the comment section down below, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!